Hey everybody, it is Neil with the Dastardly Gentleman, and with me I have Frank. Say hi, Frank.
Hey!
And also say hi to Jerry, long time dude.
Oh, hey!
Tonight, talk about dieting.
Or dying.
Why
Dying
not
while
both?
dieting. Are you
Dying through dieting. This is my Catherine Heigl diet where I'm just not gonna eat ever again. Hi, everyone!
got choppy video?
Oh no. We got I guess you could say we've got diet video feed.
Wow.
When the sound's coming.
I know, like you look. I mean, I'm watching the stream, Neil. You look so smooth, and I mean, at least your video is anyway. But we don't.
No, you're good now. We're good. All right, it fixed itself. Cool. All right. So, anyways, we're talking about dieting. Um.
Hooray.
So, Frank, are you on a diet right now?
No,
On blast.
I mean,
Is it the Taco Bell diet?
no. I drink a lot of coffee, and then I drink more coffee, and then I work a bunch, and then I'm like, what time is it? Oh, it's like 7:30 in the evening. I should probably consider eating something.
You eat. Fired out your asshole. You have so much coffee in your.
I I drink. Like, I'm not even gonna tell you. I'm not even gonna tell you how much I drink it is.
It's probably an unhealthy amount of coffee.
When's the last time you saw a doctor?
Or had a regular bowel movement.
Well, we define regular. I mean, like, does the rectal exorcism count?
That's probably not regular.
Oh, dude. Not at all. All
I
right,
mean,
so
like, I'm sitting there. I'm trying to will to Neil's life alert. You know.
says that because they think I'm old.
We
I
don't
don't
think, we know.
think you're old. I mean,
Look,
The calendar doesn't
not,
lie.
not as old.
I don't actually think that's any better. I actually think I think that's patently worse.
It is absolute.
You should probably go on a diet. Oh, please.
Okay, now you can probably hear me. My noise gate shifted for some reason. Anyways, so how about you, Jer? Are you on a diet?
I mean, I'm not like on a super hardcore diet. I'm just eating better and eating better.
Yeah.
He has to eat. He has to eat multiple proteins to keep the beard silky and sheeny. I just have to read a lot of books to make my mustache do this.
I have to eat a lot of meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so then I guess if we went by that, Neil doesn't eat anything.
Oh, no. Or read.
Or read.
You guys think you're funny.
Frank started it. I wanted nothing to do with that.
Look, fuck you guys, alright? I mean,
Poor Frank.
so it's been a while since we had Jer on the show. How much you bench, dude?
For reps right now, I can do like 185 for 5. Like my sets of 10, I'm doing I think 165. I could probably do more, but I don't want to like hurt myself and not be able to bench.
That's true. Don't hurt yourself, dude. Love you.
Yeah. I love you too. What are you benching?
I don't know. It's been a while. Actually,
a
I'm-
bag of Doritos.
Actually, chips are off limits right now. I'm doing the keto diet.
How are you?
I've been
0 chips there.
I've been doing it again the last 3.5 weeks now. I'm down about 7 pounds. So those of you that are not familiar with the keto diet, it's much like the Atkins diet, almost exactly.
It's pretty much the exact same thing.
I think Atkins will allow you to introduce carbs slowly over time. Keto is 25 grams of carbs or less per day, or else.
Or you aren't in keto, and then you're just
Yeah.
eating fat stuff.
Yeah.
And meat.
So the purpose of keto is that when you eat that few of carbs, your body goes into shock or ketosis, and in doing so, it starts using your stored fat instead of relying on the sugar you typically eat to energize your body. It's really good to lose weight, but there's a lot of side effects. Tell me what the side effects are, Jer.
The most common side effect is keto flu. I've only done keto like once, and I think I made it like a month. And I have never felt so awful in my entire life. Like it was just a constant headache. Like I felt like I had been drinking all night, but without any of the fun. I just woke up just feeling like shit. Like, and I mean, headaches, nausea. Like I felt dizzy. It was like I was missing work because of it, and it's just like. And I mean, like now that I know a little bit more about it, I kind of just jumped into it, like just reading like a few articles online, be like, oh, I can do that. And I didn't like adjust my like fats and my proteins. Like that's pretty much like what makes you not get sick. Is you're supposed to like up your fat intake like tremendously, and your protein intake also equally. Well, not as I think it's supposed to be like pretty much. I think even between protein and fat. I think your fat's supposed to be slightly higher than your protein.
Yeah.
But if you don't do that, you can get real sick. But you can drink salt water because, like, apparently apparently your body like gets dehydrated when you're on it. And drinking salt water can kind of help with like headaches and like if you start to feel like nauseous and stuff on it. But it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah,
Not yet, at least.
I'm doing keto with one other person, and they're not doing so well. I think they got straight up keto flu, and I think the weight loss was not happening. I mean, maybe a pound or two. So that person was very irritable, very like just lethargic, and wanted to sleep all the time. Tell you what, though, one peanut butter and jelly sandwich later.
It's crazy. I mean, you can like it's weird because you can go out of it like drop of a hat. Like you can put yourself into ketosis by fasting. Like some people they introduce themselves into it like just by fasting for like an extended period of time. I think it's like 2 days or something, and you can kind of start jumping right into the effect of it. Other people, it's better to like kind of like wean yourself into it, like slowly cut out carbs until you're at the point where you're not eating them. But yeah, everybody's different, so like people will react and whatnot to it differently. But if you just eat like a piece of bread, it like drops like because your insulin just shoots like through the roof, and it kind of just gets rid of the effect, and you start to feel better.
Yeah, like almost instantly. It's pretty cool. Last time I did ketosis, I don't know what happened. I've heard of weird side effects, and it's usually not even there's no I can't even give you a pattern. I mean, yeah, you get the keto flu, yeah, you get the lethargic feeling and the irritability. Those are the most common ones. But like swelling of the ankles is another one. But the friend that I'm doing keto with, they had swelling of the ankles before keto, and it stopped during keto. Kind of like the opposite.
It just it puts your body in a shock, and it just really fucks with like everything.
Like I said, the last time I did it, I had what felt like the equivalent of a fucking kidney stone. Don't know how that happened. I think my bladder was just pissed at me. I could not sit up without wanting to die.
Well, one of the things that ketosis does is it causes your blood to be more acidic. It's called, but you can, if you, like, I'm trying to remember how it happens, but like you can basically it's like super rare to do it, but if you're basically like super, you're not supposed to do it for like a super extended period of time, but you can basically poison yourself by making your blood acidic. It's called acidosis, I think is what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes diabetic people get it. Just they don't even like sometimes diabetic. I think it's type 2 diabetes. Sometimes you can just get into ketosis and it just happens, and it just has something to do with like if you're not regulating your insulin, sometimes your body just kind of does whatever and it does that. But apparently you can get it bad enough to where it can kill you. But
Wow.
that's like super 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 rare. But it can cause your pee to be really burny and smell gross.
Ew.
And it can also give you bad breath, like super bad breath.
Oh, I heard about the bad breath thing.
It just made me sick. I mean, I lost like 5-10 pounds on like the 3 weeks that I did it, but I mean, like it was awful, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone. It was like the worst flu I'd ever had, and I was hungover at the same time. Like I couldn't do anything, and yeah.
Well, this time I'm doing it, and like I said, I'm about 24 days into it now, and I'm alright. I think I could do it this time. Yeah,
Good job, dude.
what's the time frame when you're supposed to stop? Like you can only do it like what 9 weeks at a time.
It varies between like people. Like some people do it for longer. Usually like bodybuilders and stuff. Like when they're getting prepped for a show, they they basically do ketosis. That's why like a lot of times like people say that bodybuilders are like kind of dumb. It's because like when your brain doesn't have like a lot of carbs, they do like basically like a carb fast. They kind of do like the ketosis to cut like their last bit of like body fat to try and drop down to like as close to zero as you can get without dying. And sometimes when you do that, like it causes your brain to just not work so good. So when people go up and like they're interviewing people that are on stage, like they're just super out of it. And that's like usually when they're like at their weakest because they've got no carbs and they're just like that's why a lot of times when you see like when people walk off the stage, they'll eat like donuts and stuff to like just
Give
get
me
the brain
something.
working. Yeah. But it varies. Like some people can do it for like long periods of time. I don't think you're supposed to do it for more than like a few months at a time. I think it's like 3 months or something, and then kind of like ease back into carbs. Because if you just jump right back into carbs, your body is just gonna like just store everything that you eat that's carbs as fat, and that's what like a lot of people have problems when they stop doing it, is they go back to their normal shit diet and
Yeah.
they like eat like chips and like drink sodas and like all this stuff, and like your body is not used to having to process it because it basically is normally it's so used to now processing just fats that it basically is like, oh, carbs, sweet, I haven't had these in forever, let me just store that so I can save it for later. And it kind
Stored
of,
for winter.
yeah, it can get, you can put on a lot of weight back if you just jump right back into eating like garbage and don't
Yeah, I'm
kind of,
pretty sure that's what happened to me because I gained
it's,
another 15 pounds.
yeah, you do it. I mean, you do it right, you'll drop a lot of weight. Like there's, I mean, your body just it's interesting to see like how your body actually works and how it can go from burning like sugars and carbs as like its main source of energy to it's like a switch. And you usually will know when you're on it because you feel different. Like it's a weird feeling. It's hard to explain, but you like there's nothing changes on the outside, like, and you just feel different, and you just, it's like some weird brain, it just has something to do with like your brain and how it's processing everything. And then if you jump right back into carbs, I put back everything that I lost,
And then some.
like yeah, and then some. I mean, stupid me, I do this, I go on that and I do that, and then I go and I start doing like a bulking phase where I'm eating a ton of like stuff and I still getting rid of some of that bulk weight.
Oh man. So,
Yeah.
Frank, what's the last diet you tried, or was it just eating better?
I kind of sort of half-assedly did the keto thing, but like I did the, I guess like I did like the supermodel version of the keto diet where it was like, I'm going to eat no carbs, and maybe not anything else either. And because I just like, I get preoccupied very easily, and so whenever I'm like, I'm going to eat less, I don't just eat less. I eat less of everything, just like uniformly across the board. I'm like, I'm not gonna eat sandwiches anymore, and then I'm not gonna eat rice anymore. I'm not gonna eat carby products. I also apparently will not eat sandwich meat, cheeses, fats, milk. I will periodically eat coffee
green chicken
and green chicken. I mean,
it's a super diet.
I will be honest. I had I ate a lot of the what is it? The cottage cheese. I ate a lot of cottage cheese like normally, and then whenever I started the diet, I found some cottage cheese in the fridge at my office, and I was like, I opened it up, and it was it was touched, so I just stirred it up, ate it.
Gross.
No one will ever know, except for everybody that's watching now.
No, it's fine, because I'm sure that they probably left it in there because they didn't want to eat it anymore, so I did.
Probably because it was bad, dude.
I mean, like the funny
Milk's
part.
gone bad.
The funny part is that I eat stuff like that, and I'm like, I'm fine.
Eat it, don't die 3 days later. I'm all right.
So I'll get off. I mean, I figure that like every time I eat something that's basically bad, that like it just makes me that much stronger internally.
That's
I
not
don't
how
think that's how
life
it's
works.
supposed to. Yeah, dude.
It's an immune system challenge. That's what you guys are doing, like a keto challenge. I'm doing an immune system challenge. Let's go outside and eat a raccoon.
Frank will be the only one in a nuclear apocalypse still able to eat everything out of the side of the road and be just fine.
I will actively hunt zombies. But they will be my source of nutrition. Like that's not like that'll be a new episode of The Walking Dead. Like zombies are like and I'm like, get the fuck back here, swinging a machete.
Let me eat you.
Give me your parts.
God damn it, I'm hungry.
You're basically saying what George Carlin said when he said he swam in raw sewage when he was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, to cool off.
We did? We swam in the fucking Hudson. You know what I do just to make sure that my immune system gets a boost? I like a fucking toilet seat.
So what happens, Jer, when you eat too few calories?
Turn into a murdering machine. Hello.
I mean, you've heard the term hangry. I mean, that happens. Eating too few calories is like, I think it's just as bad as eating too many calories. You got to find that nice fine balance, because if you eat too few calories, your body basically kind of goes into like starvation survival mode, which is stupid because you can I mean, like, you figure out of all the like hundreds of years, like we've had all this agriculture and like food is readily available to us, like to us. I mean, you know, it shouldn't be. Like, you know, your body should know, but like when you don't eat enough calories, your body is just like, oh my god, I'm gonna starve to death. You could have a fridge full of food and be looking at it, but your body thinks it's gonna starve to death. So when you eat, your insulin levels actually read this or learned about this today. So when you're eating like say like twice a day, and you usually will eat bigger meals when you eat only like once or twice a day, usually like breakfast and like lunch or like breakfast and dinner. Your insulin levels will actually skyrocket when you're eating just like that, because your body's basically just kind of cruising along, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, a bunch of food. It will take as much of it as it can and like use it for energy, but usually you'll have a surplus of like energy or whatever that's left over, like breaking down from like the carbs and sugars, and it'll store it directly as fat, because it's like, well, I don't know if I'm going to get to eat again anytime soon, so I better hold on to all this. So it's not good. I wouldn't recommend doing it.
It's not good, bruh.
Okay, well, what if you just eat nothing for a few days?
The next time that you eat, you will like, you might lose some weight, but I guarantee you the next time that you do eat, you're probably going to gain back what you lost and then some. Because again, it's the same kind of process. It's your body just hasn't had any food, and it panics. It doesn't know what to do. And then when you get food, it's like, oh, thank goodness, I needed this. And it just stores everything it can, because it's like, well, if I went 2 days without food now, I could go 2 days again now, or, you know, this could be my last meal for a week. It's something that's just programmed into us.
That animal instinct takes over, and you're like, I gotta store all this for winter.
See, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like, I mean, I get it. I mean, I accept that as truth. But I don't know, when I eat like a big old burrito, for example, and I step on the scale, I expect to see myself plus that burrito as my weight. So like, if I'm sweating and pissing and shitting, but not putting any more weight into me, I'm obviously shedding weight. How, like, explain that to me.
Yeah, so your body will fluctuate on average. It's like 3 to 5 pounds a day based on like, you know, dropping a deuce, sweating, existing. But when you are basically like starving, like when you don't eat and stuff like that, your body, instead of like digesting like fats that you store, will actually eat your muscle first. So your weight might not actually change because you're losing muscle, but you would still be like holding on to your fat. So you're not necessarily really going to notice that big of a difference per se, versus like if you were more muscle, you would notice like a huge weight drop versus like if you had a lot of fat and like no like little to no muscle. Um, yeah.
So so that it basically defies physics then? Like, it still doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, like so I mean your body will hold and retain water and whatnot. Like there's so many different things that go into kind of the equation. Like if you're sore, your body will hold on to more water. Like when I'm like hitting the gym like every day and I'm going like for like a week straight, like I go every single day, I'll notice that like my weight will jump. Like I think the last time I weighed myself I was 214, and I took like a few days off because I got sick, and my weight dropped back down to like 205. And it's just like your bodies just do like weird things. Like you're usually your weight will usually kind of move around a bit when you go on like diets and stuff. A lot of people like your weight will jump up, it'll go down because it doesn't know what it's doing. It's like it's kind of like shocking it, and it doesn't really know what's happening. Um, and I mean, I'm no dietitian, and I'm no sports nutrition or like anything. I just read stuff online, and I've done diets, and I know what works for me, so it could work differently for anybody else. But
Look, we are by no means expert on this subject.
at all. I mean, have you seen my beach bod? I mean, you can tell I'm no expert at anything.
So do your research, kids, and talk to your doctor. Disclaimer.
Your beach bod.
It's just rude, Frank.
Dad bod?
You're like,
yeah.
You're like, hey kids, you want to see a dead body?
Show it off for the folks. Chair.
I'm not doing that.
Let's see. What's your shirt say, dude?
I want to see them. I want
to see the shirt.
I want to see them sweet nips.
Explore my body is what it says.
Explore my body. I don't even know what that means. Why is that a horse thing?
Oh.
My headset died. Oh, I'm back.
Yeah. Like, do you typically explore a horse's body?
How diseases happen.
That's how Brazilian fetishes are made.
You kids want to hear about the time Uncle Frank gave a horse a UTI?
Well, Papa squat next to Dad.
It's not that impressive, but the horse didn't make it.
Frank's just fine. All that green meat he's been eating.
But
yeah, that would be apocalypse level Frank. Just jump on a horse and then just grab on like literally on the hoof.
So tell me about this fad diet I've heard of, Jared. It's called HCG.
I've actually never heard of that.
All right, well, I'll tell you about it.
Tell me.
All right, so HCG is a diet where you take either injections or drops of HCG, and HCG is the hormone that is produced in pregnant women. And you're supposed to only eat 500 calories a day.
I can tell you right now that just sounds real bad.
It is very effective, but you're starving yourself. So
You-
just
you
like
gave
Peter
it
said.
away.
You know
Do you
what-
become a pregnant woman, or I mean, like
Your boobs do get bigger.
man titties?
Yeah.
Do they need to, but the real question is, do Jared's boobies need to get bigger?
We have to go bigger.
No. I already have to wear like
on.
2 sports bras when I'm at the gym as is.
Come on, fill this thing up, D cup.
Swear, your crop top isn't doing it for us anymore.
Yep.
So yeah, no, that's
That's-
they like.
That sounds awful. Why
I
would
get-
anybody do that?
Here's the worst thing about it, okay? Because my friend told me about it, and she's like, yeah, it is terrible for your body, but it definitely produced results. And I went online and I started searching about it, and I had to go like fucking 6 sites deep to find actual real research on it instead of somebody selling me shit. And this is like, you know, MayoClinic.com or WebMD or something. Finally had to go 6 deep to find that, and it's like, this is not recommended by the FDA, and it's bad for you. But everybody
Yeah.
else is like, it's perfectly safe. Here, buy my shit.
Well, yeah, it's like the shit with like all like the teas, like buy this detox tea, you're gonna lose so much weight. No, it's just gonna make you shit a whole lot, and as soon as you eat a normal meal again, you're gonna gain all that weight back.
Yeah.
Try
Like,
some of my Ipecac tea. It'll be the best. You'll lose so much weight, and you'll not even know why you keep losing all that weight.
A little bit of
try
magnesium citrate.
some of Frank's green eggs and ham, guaranteed to lose weight.
Guaranteed green.
May or may not contain tapeworms.
No,
That's another thing that
that's a
people do.
promise. Look, how else are you gonna lose all that weight? Fucking give you like a couple onboard passengers eating some like in meals and getting some in-flight movies. You know, you share your burger with friends. Bernie 2016.
Here, have a little parasite.
Have a little parasite.
Hashtag communism.
Bernie 2016.
So tell
A
me
lot of-
about, yeah, what were we going to say? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like a lot of those diets, it's like you really got to do your research, and most of them they're scams. Like you want to lose weight, it's really simple. I can break it down into one super easy thing. It's calories in versus calories out. You need to find out like how much you weigh. Like you can most people you can go to your doctor and they can do it's called a BMI test, which is your body mass index. And they can basically measure like how much of you is bone, how much of you is organ and goo, how much of you is fat, how much of you is muscle, like. And what they'll do is they'll basically compose numbers for you. They break you down into numbers, and they'll say, okay, well, this percentage of you is fat, this percentage of you is muscle, and that's pretty much like what it breaks down into. And they can go off of that, and they can tell you, okay, so you're this. So based on your size of what you are, you need X calories to stay exactly where you are. If you eat this many calories, or roughly about it, within, I think it's like 100, you will literally never lose weight. You will literally, as long as your lifestyle stays the same, nothing changes, and you eat exactly what you are, you'll be the exact same forever. Versus they could be like, okay, you only need to eat like, it's like 250 calories less than what your maintenance calories are to lose about a pound a week of fat. 250 calories is like you don't eat a cheeseburger. You cut out a soda. Literally dropping one soda is about 250 calories. And that's a pound a week, like easily.
That's why you see, I hear all the time from my friends that actually have lost a ton of weight. Anytime we would go to like Qdoba or whatever, they'd always get water. And I'd be like, well, Qdoba is delicious, and I want to have something sweet to go along with it. Where's your Dickies cup?
I drink from a gallon of water.
And they would basically say, I don't want to drink all of my calories for the day. Yeah,
That is the worst thing for you, is basically drinking your calories, and that's like 90% of like people that gain a whole bunch of weight. Like I would say probably 75 to 90% of it is probably all liquid. It's all liquid calories. Alcohol is like super calorie dense, and for like a little bit, like a shot is like 100 plus calories easy, and it's pure sugar. Your body just breaks it down as 100% sugar. So
Yeah, you got to keep that in mind though, because if you go online and search for calories in a shot of vodka, it'll say 60 calories. It'll also say 0 carbs. But,
which is bullshit.
But as your body processes it, it changes.
Turns into sugar.
Yeah.
Your body turns alcohol purely to sugar, and it's bad.
You'll see a lot of these light beers, like what D64, and
yeah,
it's basically piss water flavored with beer.
Bud Light.
Yeah, that's not any better for you than anything else. Like, might as well drink regular beer.
Realistically, like if you're gonna drink diet or eat diet this or non-fat or low-fat this, you're wasting money because one, it's usually more expensive, and two, it's really not that much better for you, at all.
What about the myth that fats are bad?
Fats, you need fats to survive. Like when people say that fats are bad, what fats would be bad would be like trans fats. Trans fats are like when you go and you like cook a burger or whatever. Like you go to to eat somewhere and they cook you a burger, and basically it's what it is it's like fat from it's like just pure fat from like them cooking and stuff. It's like just pure like
grease.
Fat, like just grease. Yeah, that's the stuff you have to look out for. Like when you eat meat, like I would recommend, I mean, personal experience, like if you're trying to lose weight, like going like leaner, you don't want zero fat. Zero fat is bad for you. You need fat to survive. Your brain is fat. Like it's pretty much just made up of like fat. And if you don't have fat, your body will start to pull it from places that, that normally need it, like your brain and stuff. I mean, you need fats. It's try and not, eat fried everything and all that, but you do need fat to survive. Like stuff you get in like fish or like red marbly meat. Avocados are really good. Dairy, if you can handle it's got some fat. I mean, I can't do dairy, so
no trans fat, kind of like in the military.
Don't ask, don't tell, dude.
I know Frank wanted to say something. I saw him light up.
No, I just had to leave it alone. I decided to leave it alone because we're trying not to get all super political on this podcast, but fine. No. Yeah, no.
We don't
out. No, not in my mess hall.
Alright, so what are some other fad diets out there that people should avoid?
Like pretty much anything that has you eat like little to no calories, definitely avoid it. Lots of the stuff that I see that are like, try my tea diet, where you drink like all of this tea and you lose weight. Probably, I mean, I know it works for some people, like whatever, but I guarantee you, if you were to look up studies of like after these people get off these diets, I guarantee you that they've put that weight back on and then some. Realistically, like there's so many things out there where it's like, oh, like I see stuff on like the paleo diet. Like I don't know. The stuff like that, like I know that there's some science behind it, but I just
it's called paleontology. You're hunting a fucking dinosaur or something. I'm being you eat meat, and then you eat a leaf, and then you attack someone with a stone spear.
Explain what the paleo diet is.
So it's basically like eating what your ancestors would eat. Like, so basically 100%, that's really what it is. You eat literally 100% zero, like nothing that's processed. Everything is like pretty much 100% like, I guess raw would be the best way to put it. Like you eat like meat and you eat like nuts and berries and like grains, but I don't think you eat bread in the paleo diet. I think it's like just grain that you eat. Yeah, like it's like just I don't know. I personally think it's like a fad thing. I think that you're also like limit like salts and like it's pretty much nothing that's processed. Twinkies, no. I mean, pretty much anything that you can get that comes in a bag, no. Like, I mean, that's really like when it boils down to.
Wouldn't you say that like eating a Twinkie, you might as well eat the cellophane on the Twinkie because it has more nutritional value than the Twinkie itself?
Yes, I would guarantee you that cellophane wrapper or the cardboard that it comes on has more nutritional value than that Twinkie does.
I remember going to Fremont Street in Las Vegas, and they sold the deep fried beer battered Twinkie, and I just like I can't even imagine. My dad ate it, and I was like, "You're 65 years old. You don't need to be doing this shit." And he's like, "But I have to." He says, "It's so strange. I have to try it." And I'm like, "Fair enough." Takes a bite out of it. He's all, oh. And I'm
My heart.
he's like, oh. And I'm like, is it good? He's like, yeah, but oh man, oh. That's exactly what I thought. That's exactly what I thought. So I didn't eat the fucking thing.
I pretty much stayed away from like most fried foods because of that feeling right there. Get the itis.
Yeah. It's hard to in the South because we have one flavor in that is fried. I mean, like for the most part, Cajun food down here, like they aren't necessarily like completely into the fried food bits, which I guess is good. But they do a lot of the unmass heavy carb foods, which is less great. And I remember like before I started basically not really eating. I'm so sorry. Look, I know it's the anti to shook.
How many times have I told you?
I know. Well, I was talking because before I was at a gym for a little bit, and I talked to the guy that runs it, and he asked me, you know, how much are you eating on a daily basis? Because if you just want to lose weight, you know, you can probably just scale that back. And I was like, well, I don't really know. He says, well, over the next couple weeks, just write down what you eat, just kind of on average, and then it'll give me an idea. And I'm like, okay. So then I wrote some stuff down, and I took it into him, and I was even keeping track of like the calories and stuff. And then I brought it into him, and he looks at it, and he looks at me, and he goes, "Are you an athlete or something?" And I said, "No. Why?" He's like, "How much do you weigh?" And I'm like 190. Why? And he's like, "You eat almost 6,000 calories a day." And I'm like, "I'm fat. I'm so sorry."
Frank,
he's like, why do you eat so much? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. It explains why I have no money.
And then Frank developed an eating disorder.
Yeah, it's funny because we would go to work, or I'd go to lunch at work. I work with a bunch of people who are vastly larger than I am, and they would all order food, and then they'd be like, "Okay, I'm done," and I'm like, "That was like $17 fucking dollars," and I'm like,
that shit.
How are you not gonna eat that? That's irresponsible. Please leave tell me you're gonna take
Scrape it onto my plate.
And they're like, no, I'm not gonna take it home. And I'm like, fuck. So I'd eat, and I'm like, bring it over here. So I would eat 3 full entrees plus side dishes and shit, and then like 3 or 4 drinks while I'm sitting there. It was like almost like 3,600 calories.
I'm the same freaking way. Like I went to Metrarch the other day and ordered a salad, but it was like a steak salad, right?
Salad.
So it had a full-on steak in it, just chopped up, which is nice. But I wanted to actually, get full. So I said, you know what, give me double meat. And they're like, well, that's gonna cost you. It's gonna cost you a little bit more money. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. I expect
it's
it.
double the meat, of course it is.
Yeah,
idiot.
Of course it is.
That's what every time somebody says like whenever I say I want double something, they're like, well, I'm gonna cost you more. I just want to stand up and slap them right in the fucking face and be like, do you see me? Do I look fucking retarded to you? I went to basic civics and economics. I know more costs more money, you fucking idiot.
Look, I will say this. I will say, this isn't tangent to my story, but I will say this. Qdoba, they don't give a fuck. They will give you whatever you want.
No, dude. They're like I remember we went because I went to help Neil move, and the lady there, I don't know what was wrong with her, but I hope that it's catching. Because I have never seen a more decadent and disgusting set of what would you get, the smothered chips or some shit like that? There were basically no chips.
Oh, dude, it was nachos, but then I piled like everything they had on top of it.
But dude, they put up straight like a pound and a half of meat, like a pound and a half of like shredded beef on top of these fucking nachos. Like the shit was like this tall. I'm not even kidding. And I'm like, how is this? How are you making money? And then so then they get to mine, and I said I want double of everything, and she's like double of everything. I said yeah, and I want 2 of them. So I got 2 with double everything on it, and she's like, "Is that enough?" And I said, "Oh, girl," I said, "Get at like you mad." I'm like, "Get like this place owes you money." she's like, "Oh my god, baby girl, I love you so much."
This rubber face.
Oh my god, high five you, but I don't want to touch you.
That's the thing is like they don't go fuck that. Like whatever you can fit into a tortilla or into a bowl, it's cost the same. It doesn't matter. It's like what, $9? It's like $1 more than Chipotle, but you get whatever you want.
Right.
Sir, this burrito's not gonna fold. They make silverware.
I only get the okay, look, listen. All right, so I don't get I don't get the burrito because I'm trying to cut back on my calories.
That tortilla, man.
Give me a Diet Coke while you're at it.
I'm leaving.
No, it's totally true though, and I mean, I only get the one in the bowl, and that's what like I guess like maximizes the chunkiness, which is great, and I loved it. Man, you're right though. It doesn't cost you anything, and it's. I mean, to me, I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is literally everything that I am against from a capitalist perspective, because this is a lot of basically free shit. But it's also delicious. And then Neil got to sit there and watch me fucking pound out both of them within like what, 2-3 hours.
Yeah, I don't know where you put it all. Like that was disgusting.
Like I'm sitting there watching like Star Wars Rebels. I'm like, next.
Yeah. So back to the original story. So Mudshark, I asked for that salad with the steak, and I'm like, double steak. I think it's gonna cost you extra. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I'll pay whatever. And then I'm eating it, and then about 3/4 of the way through, I gotta take a big shit. So I go out there. I go
back on the poop again.
I go to the restroom. I'm in there for about 5-10 minutes, and I come back out, and they brought the bill, and the bill said it was $11 for the salad, plus an additional $9 for double meat, and I'm like, what? Wasn't gonna finish all this, but I'm like, oh, put it all in. Fuck this. This is made of gold, apparently.
Right? Did they give you some like little lube packets that you could take home?
Right.
So yeah,
that's disgusting. We did the. Have you guys ever done the this is like the antithesis of dieting, but on the heels of that, getting your money's worth. You guys ever done the 24-hour buffet crawl in Vegas before?
No.
Okay. Well, first of all, I have. So,
well, I mean, no one's surprised.
Yeah. Yes, I know, and I managed to make literally all of them upset. The one in particular that we made upset was Caesar's Palace, and this is the last year Caesar's Palace was doing it. You spend $48, and you for 24 hours you get full access to all these different buffets that are on the back of this card. There's like 9 different buffets, but they're all on a line because you're on the strip. So we started at one end, bought it there, and then we just kind of like crawled through and went to hit every buffet on the way. We stopped at Caesar's Palace, and it was like the last year they were going to be doing. And Caesar's Palace buffet is like, it's also fucking amazingly expensive. And the manager looked at the thing because we were like, we're going to go in there, and then she was like, no. And I'm like, you're right there. This is you. So yeah, you are. And so my wife argued with her, and she pretty much always gets her way. So we went in, and the manager stood in the corner and watched us the entire time. And I cleaned out their lobster and crab bin 4 times.
God.
I just sat there, and that's all I ate. I ate nothing but lobster and crab, and it was like the lady was just going insane. She was incredibly furious, and I was just like, I drink your milk. I drink your milkshake, bitch. I drink that milkshake.
You probably had like
wonderful.
fucking $400 worth of crab legs and shit. Jesus.
I know. I'm like, it's funny because here's the funny part. I don't like either of those things.
But you know they're expensive.
But I know they're expensive, so I ate the shit out of them.
For
So,
$2.
Fuck you. Yeah, no, dude, fuck her. I mean, like, I'm like, you could have been not a bitch, and I probably would have eaten like a handful of rice and maybe like had a drink and then left. But no, fuck you. Put my stomach to work. Fucking you over.
And he also stuffed all the crab shells like in the seats of the chairs and all over the floor.
Like the
Dance a little jig on him while he's sitting there at the fucking table.
I think one of my favorite parts was like eating them and like looking like right at her. and then eating it while I'm doing it. And I wanted to go and like grab like all of them and put them on my plate and then just mash them up and then leave.
Get them, throw them in the trash, and then walk out.
Yeah, just really like, I paid for it, suck my dick, and then just get out.
Just stack it all up, eat one bite, and be like, "Oh, this is awful," and just toss it.
It's garbage. Take it back to Sissel.
She had it coming.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. So, any other food stories, guys?
That don't involve foods that aren't necessarily completely within their use by date.
Look, yeah, no,
Oh, man.
I don't want to hear that, but I think we've moved on from dieting to just eating. So
Yeah,
and
well,
I'm okay with that.
It's
We can-
kind of the same thing.
we can bring it back. So they say that like when you start dieting, like most people will fall off of a diet within the first 21 days, because they're looking at you, Frank. Because it's new. I mean, dieting is difficult. It's got the word "die" in it for a reason. But I mean, once you start doing it for a while, it becomes a habit. Like they say after I think it's like 21 days, it goes from being like a chore to you're used to doing it. It's something that you do every day. Well, a lot of people say that like when you start doing it and you start eating, I mean, even like Schwarzenegger has said this, like he would allow himself one cheat meal every week. So you eat good the rest of the week, and then on your cheat day, still eat good. It's a cheat meal, not a cheat day. A lot of people, they do their cheat days, and I mean like they go ham, and but I will always have a cheat meal once a week, always. Like I don't care, even if it's just like an entire New York cheesecake. But the last time that I did it, like before I started doing the diet that I'm on right now, where I'm eating like just fairly like clean, like just rice, chicken, veggies. That's it. That's pretty much my diet, and like eggs and whatever, egg whites. I went to Buffalo Wild Wings, and I had a hankering for wings. And I mean, wings are that's my soft spot. I sit down at the bar, and it's just me, and I walk in. And I sit down, and the lady like hands me a menu, and then like I look at it for like 2 seconds. She comes back, and she's like, "Okay, do you know what you want?" I was like, "All right, I want 2 of your like the biggest beers you got. I want 2 Blue Moons. I want your order of your 20 wings, habanero, mango. I also want another order of your small, which I think is like 5 wings. So I want 25 like mango habanero wings. I want the biggest mac and cheese you have and the biggest thing of fries you have. Bring it all out at once." So he's like, takes my order. She's like, doesn't think anything of it. She comes back. She brings all my food. She's like, "When are your other people gonna get here?" And I was like, "It's all for me." And she just like gives me this look like, "Oh, ugh."
Gross.
And she turns around, and I'm like, I go to town. I ate all of it. And I just washed the beers down as I was drinking, because I've got it down to a science. I know exactly how much beer I need to cool down that many like mango habanero wings, how much mac and cheese I can eat before like I will violently shit myself at the bar, because it's got a lot of dairy in it. I can't do dairy. And the fries, I mean, just throw them in there. Why not? And
So, do you
paid for it.
do you also get an ice cream at the end to stuff up your butthole?
Oh, dude, I know. I go home and I just get a big thing of dry ice, and I get it shaved down to about this big, and you can just picture the rest. And it does nothing. It does nothing.
All right, so we're getting close to the end here, but we're gonna change gears and talk a little bit about gaming, because we are primarily a gaming group. So
Who would have guessed?
I did, because I'm fat and I had nothing to really contribute.
Nah, dude, you tell us a good story about your
Yeah.
your
Your Qdoba problem.
your Qdoba problem and your buffet problem.
Look, it's not a problem because I didn't ask for help.
No, it's a problem, all right.
It's a problem. I don't have another buffet to go to right now.
It's a problem. I don't have another Qdoba to go to right now.
Yeah. Every time I fucking go to Chipotle, man, they fucking get the little tongs and they grab me just a little bit of meat. I'm like, is that fucking it? Like, is that all you're doing for me?
Oh, dude, I patronize those people. I'll get like right on the glass and be like, "Fucking for real? Was that? No."
Is this fucking for a child?
Yeah.
Do I look like a child to you?
Do you see this? I need more than that. That ain't nothing.
All right, so video games. What's your favorite video game that involves food? Mine's Burger Time. No, just kidding.
Bird? I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
You damn whippersnappers.
I don't understand what that is, Neil.
Burger Time was on the original Nintendo. You run across
Oh,
the thing.
The little
you make
patties,
burgers.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. I just
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Is yours Cooking Mama?
I actually like the Cooking Mama games. I think they're kind of fun.
They're fucking fantastic.
I do like them too. They're so good.
I mean, there's really no reason that you could ever not like Cooking Mama.
Even
I agree with
better
that.
than Mama.
Now you're cooking.
Yeah, Giggy.
But no, like, what are you guys playing lately? I know you're playing Warhammer, right, Frank? How's that going?
I am playing the shit out of Warhammer, and I'm also playing Diablo 3.
Again?
Well, I've been
The
playing
Necromancer,
the Necromancer,
Oh.
and just going nuts with that. It's been fantastic. The Necromancer is it's not as good as Diablo 2 Necromancer, but it's been good.
I actually heard that they're redoing a Diablo 2 4K like rework like they did with like StarCraft,
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna re-release that sometime soon. And I think that's like one of their next HOTS heroes is gonna be kind of focused on. I think, or rumor has it.
That doesn't really surprise me. I mean, as much as I love Blizzard, they are absolutely terrified of trying anything new.
They know how to make money, and I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, but I mean, sterile is still sterile.
But they did make Overwatch, which is totally not what they're, it's not in their realm.
That's
Team
true.
Fortress 2 with
Okay,
waifus.
so on that note, did anybody watch the Hearthstone Hearth and Home video?
I did.
not.
It was so good.
I am not gonna lie, totally enjoyed the hell out of that song, and I was like, great, awesome. Blizzard officially can start doing goddamn.
Disney movies and shit.
Disney
Like,
movies,
make it
yeah, they can
happen.
start
Like,
making
it's
Disney
so
movies.
good. Neil, you need to find it and put a link to it at the bottom of the video here, because if you haven't seen it, you are missing out. It is
It actually genuinely very good. I was very impressed.
I showed it to Jordan, and Jordan's usually not like into like card games or whatever like that, but she was like, that was really good. And I mean, it was good. It was damn good.
Dude, my wife plays the shit out of Hearthstone. She was like,
That's pretty much me the entire time I was watching it.
That's cool. I need to check it out then.
Yeah, you do.
Well, I mean, okay, let me ask you this. Since we're saying that, Blizzard needs to do Disney movies, I mean, what did you feel about Warcraft?
the movie?
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Okay.
Dreadful.
I thought like I liked the orcs, like and how the orcs looked and stuff, and like I mean I do think they could have done better because I mean it's Blizzard, and as far as I'm concerned, Blizzard is like the king of cutscenes. I stopped playing World of Warcraft, want nothing to do with it. I'm fucking done. They put out one fucking 45-second long trailer, and I will buy whatever the fuck they are selling every time they do it. And I'm just
You
like,
hate yourself for it every time.
and I log in and I'm like, I'm so excited. I can't wait to play. 10 minutes in, I'm like, why the fuck did I do this? Uninstall.
Yep.
I spent so much money. Let me tell my friends to do the same thing because I don't want to feel like an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, I really wish that they. I think the problem with the Warcraft movie is that they tried to cram so much lore and so much story into this much of a movie
got-
when it needed to be like this much of a movie.
Well, yeah, that and they got most of it wrong. I mean, like, so
Yeah.
I'm like, none of this makes any sense. And I spent a lot of the movie being kind of, what?
Yeah, like I feel that a lot of it though is that they have to dumb it down to the general public, which is what I think they do with a lot of movies now. They just take good,
Yeah.
great stories, and then they're just like, well, the fans are gonna, get this or whatever, but Joe Schmo is dumb and he's
Yeah,
not gonna follow it, and
I think
we're
that
gonna
was
fuck it up.
I agree with that for the most part. I think that the majority of the problem was both time frame and attempting to alter a story to someone who isn't familiar with the lore, but at the same time, you're starting at Warcraft at the very, very, very beginning, and there's almost no way to. If you're starting from the beginning, you're starting whenever everything started, hence starting at whatever stupid. So then, if you're starting at the beginning, you have the opportunity to tell the story as is going forward, versus like I'm trying to make this entire thing condensed, and because I feel like they spend a lot of time trying to touch on a bunch of cameo kind of shit that they didn't need to, shouldn't have been, and they try to wrap in like a bunch of books, and then they try to wrap in a bunch of comics, and they try to make like a bunch of tips of the hat. We're tipping our hats so much that we look like a fucking rodeo clown, and I'm like, I'm like, that doesn't mean anything. So I'm watching my dad, and he's just like, okay, and I'm like, see, you don't care. And it's not anything to do with you. It's that, all the things that were important were subtext that they never expounded on ever. And so then there were things that didn't make any fucking sense to me. Like, well, okay, so we have the Dark Portal. Great. Why the fuck is it on the ground? And then at the beginning, why is it standing up?
Well, they also, from what I understand, is they cut 90 minutes from that movie.
Which is insane. I mean, that's so much. That to me, that is an egregious cut. Because in a movie like this that has 30 years of lore behind it
needs to be a Lord of the Rings. Yeah,
it does. It needs to be longer. I mean, like I said, you're talking about 30 years of video games that has been so like they're up to like what 12 Warcraft video games, where World of Warcraft and regular Warcraft included. So I mean, you're starting at Warcraft 1 and then you're moving forward. I mean, if they just went Warcraft 1, period, just the lore of Warcraft 1, everything that happened to Warcraft 1, they'd have a banging ass movie.
But it would still need to be a long fucking movie. Like,
it would need to be really long, but
you can't wrap that into fucking like 90 minutes or whatever it was.
Right, and I think one of the things that they also made it negative to me is that this is Warcraft 1, whenever the Horde was first starting, and the Horde was still in the sway of the Shadow Council, and then you have Durotan. He's like, no, we don't want to be part of this. Great, but he stepped back immediately. So then you had the Shadow Council and Blackhand were taking everything over, and they all took the blood, including Durotan. Not Durotan. Oh my god! Grom did. Wow, Doomhammer. Sorry. Whew,
okay, I was like, wait. Okay.
Doomhammer took the blood too. So like they were all green, and then by the end, Stormwind gets destroyed. So then that would be the culmination of everything. So then you have Gul'dan, Shadow Council, Orgrim, and
the
then
sacking of they cut that from the movie. They cut
that's extremely important. I mean, not only do they destroy Stormwind, but in that process, Doomhammer becomes War Chief by killing Blackhand.
Blackhand, yeah.
Right. So
smushes him with a hammer.
This is a huge. I mean, that's a huge story that you can go through, that you could tell from beginning to end within the allotted time. And that's just fucking Warcraft 1. And you could make it so that it is not only an interesting story, but it also is in keeping with the lore that everyone's already familiar with. And so fans would be like, that's fucking correct. That's right. But instead they decided to be like, we're going to grab a bunch of bits from World of Warcraft, which is way the fuck in the future, and we're going to jam it into this movie that's supposed to take way the fuck back in the original game. And you're going to be like, well, it's King Lane. They're like, who? And then they're like, it's Lothar. Who? They have no fucking idea. Your principal audience that you decided to make this movie for has no fucking idea who these characters are.
And I mean, like most of the movie, it's like you just don't give a shit because you're just like, okay.
And I mean, like a lot of people were very pumped about Lothar's portrayal, and I'm like, he's an asshole and he's stupid. I mean, he has nothing to do with the way that Lothar is presented in the games and in the lore. And I find it painful.
I hated Medivh too.
Oh, who played Medivh?
I don't know, but he was atrocious to say the least. He was awful.
He was a heavy overactor.
Oh yeah, like it was bad. It made me super sad. I was just like, Blizzard, just sit down and just make a CG movie. Just fuck it. You could do a CG movie that's like 40 million hours long, and do it in like half the budget, because you don't have to make costumes. You don't have to do this. You can hire a team of nerds to sit down and drink Mountain Dew and make like the best fucking movie you've ever seen.
I mean, and if anything, you know, you could hire some people that are familiar with the lore to keep you on track, because that's what Disney does. The continuity people does for Disney movies that are like the Star Wars movies. You know, like, can we do this? No, because at this point, you know, you said something completely different that would be contrary to what you're trying to do right now. Okay, we'll try to do something different then. So then, you know, you would have in that movie, in the context of Warcraft, somebody be like, you know, Doomhammer should be green. He totes took the blood, you know, or like, you know, Gul'dan kills Durotan. No, sorry, totally didn't happen. Durotan wasn't even in the first war. The Frost Wolves completely stepped out of it. So, I mean, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of shit about it that I didn't like. You guys
just have Chris Metzen with like a microphone just yelling at all these people. No, you fucking idiots! You fucked it up. I wrote this.
But in the Thrall voice, you know?
Yeah.
You have forsaken the elements.
With this fucking Doomhammer in one hand, microphone in the other.
Yeah, the big old foam one to start beating the shit out of the director. Boom! But needs to make that noise. Look at Neil. He's like, you guys are talking about lore and books, and I don't care.
We just nerded out.
No, man, I never watched the movie front to back. So
I will say what I did love out of everything in that movie. I loved Gul'dan. He was the portrayal of Gul'dan was fantastic, and he was so fucking evil. Like very beginning, whenever they have all the spoilers. They have all these Draenei around the Dark Portal, and he's going to use their souls to power it. He just yanks their souls out of their bodies and kills everybody. And I'm like, he's so evil.
I was bummed they didn't use his voice though from the game. I mean, the guy that did it, you know, like he didn't do too bad, but
yeah, he did good. Troy Baker plays him in the game.
Yeah,
that's what I said to hype you for that movie, because like I said, I only watched the first like 15 minutes of it, and that's the scene that I saw. I'm like, Frank. Gul'dan, he's so good.
Yeah, no, I was like, every scene with Gul'dan, I was like, fuck yeah, but then like everything that was about him, I was like, what?
Corona just made me angry the entire time with her stupid, half-open, like, dumb face the entire time, just...
Yeah.
This is how my people speak. and then she's the only one that could speak English, and she's like, well, I learned from, it was some... Like we take prisoners or whatever, and I'm like,
that's not how it happens at all.
Not only that, how would you have done that if this is the first time the portal's been open? Moreover, this is the first time that Medivh made contact with Gul'dan in order to construct the portal and then connect the two gateways. And if Gul'dan had already known where Azeroth was, you can bet your sweet cheeks that the Legion would have already been there. That's the whole point of the thing. That's the whole point of the game. But what do I know? I'm just a nerd with too much time on his hands and thinks too much.
It's true.
Seriously though, they should make a Hearthstone like short series or something, because it was really good.
Just make a fucking Blizzard themed Disney movie. That'd be fantastic.
Oh yeah.
That way Elsa can marry the Lich King. And then all my fanfics will finally make sense.
Good night, everybody.
Oh, wow. Wow. I guess we don't want to talk about my Yogg Saron fanfics then.
Gul'dan X Thrall.
Yeah.
Gul'dan X Razthul.
Yep.
Stop it. Just stop it. Alright, so let's wrap it up. I think we had a pretty good one there. Boys.
Yeah, it was alright. I've had better.
I figure you hear that a lot.
Lie to me.
It's the story of my life.
That's usually what the squat rack says to you. I've had better.
Well, folks, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. you like what you heard, like what you saw, please like, rate, comment, subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell your family.
Tell your friends' friends.
Tell their family.
Your friend's family.
Shout it from the fucking rooftops.
Yeah.
We'll have another one out here coming soon on Friday of next week.
I was gonna say, wait, it's Friday now. Shit.
Fucking Jerry,
What?
man. But until next time, we shall see you later. Bye.
Bye.
I hope